Hey everybody, it's Queen Jelly and welcome back to my toy box. This is a doll and toy themed YouTube channel and I like to post at least once a week. With that being said, it is an adult channel meant for adult collectors like myself. However, I do my best to keep the channel family friendly, but do just keep that in mind. With that being said, today's unboxing is going to be of this Cleo De Nile. This is the couple series back now of Skulltimate Secrets. I have opened the Abby. I actually don't think I have a video of it on my channel. I'll have to look. If I do, I will put an iCard here, but I think I opened her at a point when I wasn't doing videos, but I can't remember because it's been a minute. And these have also been waiting a while to get their videos. There's just been so much new stuff that's been coming out that I've been interested in that I just haven't gotten around to it. Plus, just it takes a long time for me to film and edit and upload, so I'm just not always able to get up as many videos as I would like, especially when like this was kind of batch bought. I bought all of these at the same time that I bought all of my core refresh dolls. I was just kind of doing a catch up because what I've been doing with the Monster High series is I'll pick one, at most two dolls from a new line that I'm really interested in. I'll get those right away and then I'll wait for the rest to go on sale. So these ones were bought at like end of year, like Christmas time sales when all that stuff was really cheap. So she's been sitting around for a while waiting to get her video. So she will get that now. And then I do still have the other two to unbox as well. So I still have Draculaura and Claudine. So those videos will also be coming out soon. So keep an eye out for those. Anyway, that's all I think I have to say for now. If I didn't say it already, don't forget to use the timestamps if you're interested in particular parts of the video. We start with the doll chat like we just had, then we'll go and look at the doll on the desk, and then of course at the end we'll add in a few photos. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in just a second on the desk. All right, everybody, so I did take a quick peek, and unfortunately I did not give Abby her own video, which is a real shame because she is very much a baddie and I absolutely love this doll. But Abby is also one of my biases, so it's hard for me to not love this doll, honestly. But yeah, she is so pretty, and hopefully one day I'll have a second Abby to dress in the other part of this outfit, but that is how she is currently dressed, in kind of the pop star form. I just want to give you a quick peek at her, but today's focus is going to be on the Cleo De Nile. I'm not going to be doing the... I don't think these ones have the water surprise. I think these are just, these are look at the thing through the thing, so we don't have to worry about water. Yay. Anyway, so it says 125 plus looks because of course they count like one shoe on, one shoe off, one of these shoes and one of those shoes. Like, it's very contrived to really say that they have 125 plus looks. They really have one to maybe two looks, and we'll talk more about it, but they're not really complete looks, but they kind of are, because you can make it work. Because like right now, for some reason, I don't know if I was doing something with her or something that I didn't put the undersuit back on, but again, we'll talk about that more when we're looking at Cleo's outfits. But it says Skulltimate Secrets Monster High. This is Monstrous Mysteries. So this was the first series when we switched to this shape of coffin, if I remember correctly, and this was the first time that we'd seen a wave of 4, and then now we've also seen a wave of 3. I think we've seen 2 waves of 3, so they keep shrinking this line and changing who's in it every time. Of course, Draculaura is in every single one of these lines, but other than that, it's kind of rotated through the others who's in there. As of right now, this would have been Cleo's 3rd and last current doll in this series. There are 2 more like of these like mystery series after this one, but neither of them have Cleo in it. So we have Cleo from wave 1 of the Skulltimate Secrets lines. That's just kind of the introduction that was just kind of stylized to match the characters' designs. And then she appeared in wave 2, which was kind of the more wintry theme. I'm still so upset that this one came out when it did, because this came out during a time when we were they were kind of just throwing everything at the wall, and they were running through sets so fast that you couldn't really, if you didn't get it right away, you didn't get it. And so it was really hard to get like duplicates and stuff. And this wave 2 is honestly one of my favorite lines that they've done. I just love winter themes, and it's not like so super heavy, but the way that they like incorporate like the pastels and stuff, I really liked this series, especially the Frankie and the Cleo. And so like I would have really loved to have had a second one of these dolls, but they're so expensive because again, they were really hard to get your hands on. So and they did that wave 2 a little dirty, but she was not included in Neon Frights, which was wave 3, and then she was not in the tea parties for wave 5 or in Hauntleywood for wave 6. So as of right now, wave 5, which like I said is the Monstrous Mysteries, which was this last one that we saw 4 in so far, she was one of the 4. The other 3 were, as I said, Abby, Claudine, and Draculaura, which I do also have to unbox, and we will be doing those hopefully soon. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get into her now that we've done that little tie right there. So actually, now that I think about it, I am kind of glad that we've actually seen a reduction in the size of these mystery sets, because the these cases are so cumbersome. I love them. I think they're such a nice play feature, but when you have all of them from every line, it kind of gets to be a lot. I currently have the original series coffins hanging on the wall. So that is one thing I do really like that they included, is they didn't really do this series as well. One thing I like that they included with the original coffins was a way to hang them on the wall. They literally had built-in hooks on the back for that purpose. I shouldn't say hooks because you had to have hooks, but there was holes in the back for hooks specifically. And I really like that. What I do like about these ones is they actually have, which we'll be able to see once we unlock these, they have basically a closet on either side. So you have storage space, and then you have storage space for the doll. Another thing that is kind of solved in these is there's still mystery as far as the accessories and all that kind of stuff, but because of the great design, if you're someone who's a little bit more picky about what they look like, you can kind of peek in and see them. Unfortunately, all of mine from this series and the T series were all done as mobile pickups in order for me to be able to get the best deal on them and guarantee that I got them. So I wasn't able to look at my faces, but I will say that they do have a way that you can, if that's something that would bother you. And then rather than have the water, they have these mystery sheets that essentially the idea is to like kind of give you hints at what's coming. You can already see the red very strongly, but the idea is that you put this over it, and it's supposed to be a blue light filter, so then you can see the red pieces. And this just kind of shows you how to assemble the parts that we're looking for to create the stand, which will then lift up the doll. So they're not as like really mystery, I would say, as the original series. But again, I still do think, although aesthetically, I think the coffins were better, I think play feature wise, these are better, because the coffins really, once they're out of there, there's not really a reason to like put them back in. That was really just a big reveal gimmick, whereas this feels to me more like a play set, especially because this kind of includes a clip that you can use as a stand. So that also kind of solves a problem that we have with G3. The other thing is that this decoder piece is our key. So we only get one key in this set. We don't have the like each key for each color, which is why the decode is for the parts needed to build to lift her up. Obviously, like if we really wanted to, we can just like pull her out now, but we're not going to do that. We're going to unbox as intended. So we have, again, this gold case. Each one got their own color. And then we have the black bars here on the side with a blue keyhole. And so our first piece is her headpiece, which we will look at now. And then we'll look at again on the doll. We'll kind of put the outfits together. But they did each get their own individually molded headpiece with the headphones. Again, this theme is kind of pop star, kind of like warm up. So one of the looks looks like a stage look, and then the other one is kind of like a dance class type look. But there is the headpiece. All right, for this bag, we have one of the pieces we'll need for lifting her up. So this is the piece that's actually going to clip in. And then we have her gloves, which I really like for this series that they did molded gloves as opposed to fabric gloves. In the future, I believe some of the sets will have like literally painted on hands, which is really nice. But for this series, they did the molded gloves, which I really like. And they have this little diamond cutout on the top. And then you can see this like shelf right here. So like I was saying, like it's kind of like a closet design in here. And then we can open up this bag, which feels like it has most of her clothes in it. So this is another piece for the front. So this kind of clips in here. And then the last piece will be the heart that goes here on the front. That's a little bit more decorative. So we have her skirt, which is this terry cloth material with her heart printed on it. And then this gold ribbon on it as well. We have her tights, which I've heard are very similar to her skin tone, so they kind of blend in, but I feel like that's what they do on Abby as well. I feel like the intent is to make them look more like they have very like glittery legs rather than the tights being the focus. And then again, because of the dance class look, it has these leg warmers. So that is this side of the cabinet done. Now we'll open the other side. And then this side is the more closet side. It does also have a shelf. Oh, no, wait, it is on this side. Okay. I'll show you when we find the piece, but there is a little space here where you'll be able to add a bar so that you can actually hang up the clothes. So there should be hangers and a bar in one of these bags as well, which I think is really neat in a set that has multiple outfits. Again, they really upped the play features on this wave. I'm assuming that kind of stuck around with the future waves in this shaped coffin, but I don't know because I haven't really looked too closely into them. But this bag came with her shoes, which hopefully that will fix when it's on her ankle, but they are a little oddly shaped. These are the ballet shoes. So they have no heel and they kind of look more like flats, but then they have this little piece underneath it that kind of looks like, this kind of looks to me like a wicker basket. And then she has the kind of part that like twists up the ankle that again has this kind of weaved design with a gem there in the middle. They are a like dark blue and then a turquoise blue at the bottom. Very pretty. She has her water bottle. This is Monster High here on the front and then has a little scarab on the top with a straw coming out of it. The lid should be removable. They are in most of these sets. I cannot personally get it off, so it may actually be molded together. You guys will have to let me know if that's something you were able to get off. She does have these mummy wrappings around here as well. And again, it is in that kind of turquoisey color. And then this is a charm that will hang off the bag. It is a little scarab with wings and some dangly bits below it. We have a hairbrush. This is obviously designed as an accessory. It's not meant to like actually be a hairbrush for the set. That has this sarcophagus on it and these wing shapes around the outside, as well as a mummy wrapped handle. Very cute. The overall shape almost reminds me of a skelet, and I think that's kind of a fun detail there. I don't know if that's on purpose or if I'm just kind of seeing it because I'm used to looking for those. And then last but not least is her bag. I do like that it's kind of in this pyramid shape, even though it's a duffel. And then we have these really pretty golden flowers on the front, as well as this wrapping here and these molded in zippers. And then here's the back. It says Cleo on it, and it does have a nice open top, so we are able to fit a good amount of her accessories inside. And then the last bag, which should have the last piece for our lifter here. So we have, this is the clip that I was talking about. So if you see here, there is a little heart shape on this side. So it can go in any of these heart-shaped holes on the outside of the case. So there's 3 on each side. So you can put it wherever you would like, depending on your pose. And then, like I said, here's one of the hangers. So this one is in silver. The second hanger in silver. The last piece for our contraption, which we will clip on the front here, which I believe does not, if I remember with the Abby one, I don't think it fits with this on, so we just pull that out. And then we have her chest piece. So this is in lieu of a second like top. This can be worn over or without the leotard that she will be wearing. So it is a full piece of plastic, and it just clip right onto the doll, and it has some bronze detail on the front on top of those wings and the gem right here. It is very pretty. I do like the bronze. I'm just kind of surprised that they went with it, because they usually go with more of a turquoise accent for her, but I suppose it does match with the gloves really well. And I'll be interested to see what it looks like on her. And then the last piece in here was the bar that I was talking about. So as you can see, it has a rounded end and a flat end, kind of like a nail, and you just slide it into this part here, and then the hangers just hang on it like so. So you can hang up the additional pieces, which I think is really cute. And then we can close up the sides here so they get out of the way. And then we have our clip here for the front that we can find where it goes. Okay, there's the slot, so we'll just stick it in there. Maybe. There it is. Now that it's clipped in, we can slide up. Slide her up. I'm going to pull the camera back a little bit so maybe you can see it better. Ta-da! So here she is in the little reusable slider. And I'm going to go ahead and get her clipped out. So there is a rubber band holding this whole plastic piece into here. And so we can just take that out. And then I'll just show you really quick. This is what the elevator looks like on the inside. For her, it is black. I believe the molding is going to be the same on all of them, just probably a different color depending on the doll. And if I didn't show it already, here is the back of the casing, which has a skelet on it, and it kind of looks like a fence that could open, because like here's the centerpiece, so it looks like that part of the fence. And yeah, so there's her case. We'll go ahead and put that to the side. Like I said, those are quite bulky. And now I'll go ahead and get her the rest of the way out of here. This piece here is actually an attachment for the elevator, so that way she has a brace to hold her in when she's not in the plastic. So that way you don't have to keep the plastic in order to redo the elevator part. Now we have Cleo out and ready. Again, just using one of my basic Amazon stands for the moment. So as you can see, she is currently wearing the leotard as well as a skirt over the top, and then the boots. And again, you can kind of mix and match the pieces. That's the whole point of these sets, as opposed to coming with 2 like complete separate outfits. For this line, they kind of came with one like base leotard, and then you put the sets on top depending on if you want them to look like they're performing or if they look like they're at rehearsal. As I said though, you can put the top on without the leotard underneath and make it 2 separate outfits, but it's kind of this set is kind of a bit more of a mix and match rather than 2 fully wearable outfits, depending on your preference. I will show you what she looks like in the warm-up gear in just a moment, but first we'll take a look at her concert outfit. Again, without the other pieces on. Then we'll add the extra parts and then we'll switch to the warm-up look. So I think this hair is so pretty and I feel like it's very unique for Cleo. I can't remember another Cleo that we have that has brown hair like this. She almost always has her blue of some color. She does have still blue streaks here in the front, but I really like this like more natural tone on her. And then of course we have her staple, which is the gold tinsel in her hair. Because of their like pop star style, they all have painted faces. So she has a triangle, which is supposed to be like an upside down pyramid on her face, and then blue and orange eyeshadow with of course her regular black eyeliner. Then we have light brown lips, which oddly enough do not have the golden design here in the center that we typically see. And then her leotard has her name on it, which I think is really cute and very Cleo. I think in G3 she's a lot less like self-centered, but she's still very self-confident, and definitely appreciates herself and her style. So I do like that she has her name on there. I think it's very, very accurate for the character. And then for her skirt here, it does have multiple layers. So we have a tulle layer, a black fabric layer, and then this gold layer on top with some typical like Cleo items. So we have some like jewels and stuff like that around the trim. And I do believe it velcros in the back, so it is a separate piece that can come off. It does have the divider in between her legs to keep it from sliding up, and it does have some gold ribbons here on the front to emulate the mummy wrappings, of course. Here's what the leotard looks like without the skirt on. And then we have her boots, which I love this like thing right here in the front, except my printing is super, super off. So you can see the molding here, and then here is the print on mine. I've had these for a while, so to contact Mattel, but I probably won't because I don't think that they'll do much for me. In the past, I have had them refund some of my orders or replace it with a completely different doll, but I don't really need that. I just would like another shoe. And Rainbow High back in the day used to just send you whatever piece that you would need, but I've not had that same experience with Mattel. They are usually still pretty good with their customer service. I did have one time where I had an issue and they tried to tell me that they resolved it by pointing out a different issue that they resolved. And I was like, those are completely separate things. And then they never contacted me back after that. But other than that, I did have to report a few things very, very beginning. But I haven't had to do anything in a while. I think they thought that I was a scammer because I'd reported multiple things like back to back to back, but it was just because I'd bought so much stuff. Like I even sent them a picture at one point that was like, hey, look, here's my full collection. And you could see I've reported 4 things out of the 50 dolls I had at that point. I didn't even know. So like, I'm not super confident that I'm going to do anything about it, but if it's something that ends up bothering me too much, I might contact them. But again, you can see that the printing is completely off of the mold, but I do still really like the design that they have. And this one is slightly off. It's a little bit higher than it should be because you can see where the tassels end, but it's not as egregious as the other leg. And then here is the side of her boots. So we have a pyramid, a heart, and a tassel. These are like Lady Gaga-esque boots. They do not actually have a heel. This is meant to emulate a fabric tassel, but it does still kind of work in the essence of kind of supporting it as far as a doll shoe goes. But this is not meant to be like a side heel as far as I could tell, because I've never seen a shoe with a heel on the side. I think it's just meant to not have a heel at all. And then we can see that she has these pyramid designs here at the base of the boots. And then on the soles, it seems to be more of those kind of like scribbly designs like we saw on the skirt. So those are the parts that she comes with. Now I'm going to show you the two different outfits. So here's what I call her dance class look. As someone who used to be a dancer, I really am just a sucker for any time they do like any sort of like ballet theme or anything like that in dolls, which is why I think I did have my core Abby, if I remember correctly, wearing the dance class outfit for a while. So I think that's why this Abby is dressed in Pop Star. So I will need to find the parts for the dance class Abby, because I think I prefer this look just because I love the way that they did the ballet shoes so much. But this is also the simpler look, so we'll see how I feel when I switch her over to the Pop Star design for Cleo, because I have a feeling like for Cleo, I think I'm gonna like the performance outfit a little bit more, just because, like I said, this is kind of basic. But again, I do adore the way that they did the shoes for this line for the dance class version. And then this definitely has a lot more of the handheld accessories, whereas the Pop Star look will have a lot more of the wearable accessories. So again, as of right now, we have on the leotard, the skirt, the leg warmers, the shoes. She's holding the water bottle and the bag, and her hairbrush is tucked away in her bag. Just so we can see that I do utilize all the pieces between the two looks. So now I'm going to go ahead and transform her into the Pop Star version, which will be the same as Abby's Pop Star version, so that they will kind of match on the shelf until I decide which variant I want to keep them in. But I will probably keep them all in the same variant. Whereas with the other series, I kind of mixed and matched depending on the character. I didn't really like stylize them to match each other. I just styled them to match what I thought looked best on the dolls. With these ones, because it's so specifically themed, I want to keep them all in either one or the other. So that's why I did this look first, so I can put them in Pop Star for now. And then once all four of them are open, I'll decide if I like the Pop Star or the dance class look better. Not that that really matters, because that's just going to be for my display, but I thought I'd just let you guys. So I was going to put this piece on when I realized this hole here at the bottom. And then, so I looked at my Abby and she's missing hers too. There's supposed to be a microphone that comes out and goes in front of their face. Now for my Abby, she, I believe, had it, and I probably just dropped it at some point. But she full on did not come with that piece. It was supposed to be in the bag with the gloves and the original base piece, and I've watched that video clip several times now to make sure that it wasn't like caught in something and I dropped it, but she is full on missing the microphone for her helmet. So again, it's a small piece. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything about it, but I'm quite disappointed, because I feel like there'd been such a good track record lately. Again, like I said, I had to file a couple complaints at the beginning, but it's been a while since I've had to. So the fact that this one has not one but two errors in it is a little bummer. So we're going to go ahead and finish the review as is though. So we have her headpiece, which other than that part is actually really pretty. And unlike Abby's, is actually really tightly sculpted to her head, so I don't have to worry about that going anywhere, which is really nice. And I think it looks very beautiful on her. I do have some of her hair pulled a little bit more forward, but most of it's pushed back tightly with the headpiece. And I do personally prefer what it looks like with the leotard underneath, but I did want to just show you that you can essentially make two complete outfits without having to repeat any of the accessories, depending on how you put them on. But again, it is all up to preference. That's the whole point. And there is plenty of room underneath here to be able to fit, but it is also clipped tightly to her, so it's not going to go anywhere. She currently has the tights on, which again are a very similar skin tone to her. It's actually a little bit lighter than I was expecting, and has the gold shimmer on it. And then she's currently wearing the skirt and then the high boots. So there is Cleo in her pop star look. Overall, I think it's a really beautiful doll. Cleo is always a welcomed addition to the collection. She has a lot of love put into her designs. I really like her color scheme and everything else. Again, it's very unique to see this brown hair on her, so I really like that when we kind of branch out and do some different things that still feel very true to our character designs. And there is a few unfortunate things that are wrong with mine, but that's something that will happen with mystery dolls, why a lot of people are not a fan of them, and that is completely and totally fair. But I still overall really enjoy this design, so I'm glad to finally have her open and added to the collection. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and we will see you very soon in the next one. Bye!